Howdy! I think we're going to do another one of these type videos today since I've got a lot of boxes to open up, and I'm just going to talk about the state of the store, the state of Magic and Pokemon, and the other games, and give my thoughts going into the Christmas season. There is a lot of just talk in the finance, economics, market, whatever you want to call it, world for Magic the Gathering Pokemon. I've noticed just a lot of buzz of the rumor mills surrounding Magic the Gathering Pokemon, and it just shows overall. Okay, let's go into some psychology here. One of my favorite psychologists, economists I can talk today, named Daniel Kahneman, extremely famous. He won a prize, Nobel Prize for, I can't even remember what it was, for economics, and then he started to go into the field of positive psychology, and that's where I really got into his work. But he won his big Nobel Prize, whatever the prize of economics is, on basically coming up with software algorithm that proved that the market moved more on emotions than it did on raw data. That was basically the TLDR of it. And it was a fascinating thing because they figured out how they could predict the market based upon buzzwords that were showing up in newspapers. Because at the time, I mean, I think this is pre-internet. This was like, newspapers and magazines and things like that. And so if they took all these buzzwords, they could predict the movement of market, and it would actually outperform the just raw data of where things moved. And it just showed that humans are irrational and emotional, and that is kind of the market as a whole that we've gone into, is the irrationality that even though Magic and Pokemon still have good sales, we are definitely starting to see the tides turn as far as the emotional just strife, I would call it. I don't know. Just where people are starting to feel that the market is going into the toilet. And I've been talking about this too myself, and I'm starting to see a lot of indicators about this with just the sheer amount of people on YouTube, like the gurus on YouTube for the Pokemon and the Magic and even Lorcana, those type of channels, that are just really starting to show the frustration and starting to show the cracks that are starting to form in the glass for this overall collectibles market. And I don't know, there's been a lot of, I think I touched upon this in another video about how it's an aging demographics problem, which is crazy how fast it can turn. That we went from the hottest collectible market ever in 2020, 2021, where it was just booming, to where now we are in one of the coldest markets in a long time, where all of those gains and growth that happened during the 2020, 2021 have just evaporated. And there's been a lot of discussion to blame the aging demographics, which is crazy, though, that you can go from 2 years ago, I mean, the scope of thing, 2 years is not a long time, to where everyone's buying collectibles, to now it's not cool to buy collectibles. So it's not just that. I guess like games like League of Legends and Dota 2, StarCraft, like, so, the kind of the tried, tested, and true games that have been with us for 10 years. So we've gone through a weird time period, Magic included in this time period, where I remember growing up, like the shelf life of a game was pretty, like, there'd be another game, and it was just the race war for technology, where just better technology would come out, so it would make other games obsolete. But then we came to kind of a plateau with what games could do, and that's why games like League of Legends and Dota and StarCraft and those things have kind of lasted the test of time, because there's only so much you can do with a game. So there hasn't been a lot of incentive to like innovate or create like a new game, because technology is basically capped on what you can really do with a game. And these games like the StarCrafts, the Dotas, the League of Legends, they were just good enough for what they did. But if you've actually looked at League of Legends numbers, Dota numbers, all those things, they're also collapsing too. So it's like simultaneous that there is this collapse in the Pokemons, the Magic, as far as, and again, not sales, no, because the sales are still, in my opinion, we're kind of still on the upward curve before it starts to drop. But the whole theory is it's the aging demographics that now what happened with the last like 10 years, 5 years, was nostalgia, and where people that grew up with these type of games, me personally, I grew up playing StarCraft, I grew up playing Dota 2, I grew up playing Magic the Gathering, and we got into this where we're now into our late 30s, early 40s, where everything in our life is basically on autopilot, and we had more time and more resources, more money to actually go back and give nostalgia a throw a lot of money at it and enjoy what we enjoyed as a child. And what we're seeing now, though, the whole theory is that, okay, that's kind of come to an end. And now we're starting to look forward to other things. Like now it's like, okay, now we're going to get into retirement, like start thinking about retirement, start thinking about, okay, vacations, start thinking like a lot of the kids are now getting older and you have to spend a lot of things on kids entering into middle school and high school age. Like this is my demographic that grew up these games, and it's all coming at once. And I noticed this too. I guess that was a kind of complaint with Dota 2. Dota 2 had like the worst prize pool that it's had since like the inception of when it did what's called the internationals. And I guess League of Legends numbers are completely down. And what people have been realizing is like the same people that have been with these games for now decades. And that's what I kind of noticed at the Magic convention I went to, the Magic Summit. It was the same people that I'd been seeing for 10 years. And there was just a lack of new blood. And so that's like the biggest concerning thing. So I was watching a podcast, listening to a podcast of these guys talk about how they think that Magic is uninvestable because there's not going to be any new money coming into it. So then we're going to have all of the old money that's trying to get out at the same time. So like, okay, I don't want these cards anymore. They had some nostalgic value. I'll keep some of these. Like, I don't want all this stuff. I'm going to downsize. So that's kind of the terminology that everyone's using. Okay, I don't need all these commander decks. I don't need all of these old pre-release decks that I played or all these old modern decks. I'm just going to stick with a few of them here, and I'm going to downsize. I'm still going to stick with the hobby. But what's the problem is when all the demographics at once do that, then it causes just a massive supply. And also, it causes that whole first pebble that starts turning into an avalanche of people getting worried about the old market. And the problem is with the reprint policies of Pokemon and Magic, where they just continue to print, is that only, like, it doesn't even, like, let's just say that Magic and Pokemon stay stagnant. That they say, like, okay, there's still a lot of healthy sales. There is still all the old competing product that hasn't been opened, plus all the product that has been opened that still competes with the new stuff coming out. So the only way that, even if you want to keep a sustainable growth, like using the exact same print run numbers, so say let's put out a number here, 1 million boxes, because 1 million boxes is what the market could have absorbed last year. You have to have growth, not stagnation. You can't have the same amount of players. You have to actually have growth to even absorb the amount that you're currently printing, not even think about printing even more. And so that is the what is going on in kind of the rumor mills and discussions, is this aging demographic that, even though we're still seeing like a healthy amount of people playing and collecting Magic the Gathering Pokemon, we're not seeing the new growth that absorbs all of that older product and all the newer product too. And so what we're happening now is that pebble turning an avalanche of supply. And then eventually it's going to get worse and worse and worse, where it's going to even at small growth and a stagnant growth, the companies have to produce less and less and less and less and less. Otherwise, they can continue to contribute to that avalanche that is now starting to bury the market in oversaturation. So anyway, it's crazy though. I'll have to link some of these videos that I've been watching though. I don't agree 100% with them, because there's a lot of them are really doom and gloom, like get out now. I mean, they're the same crypto bro type personalities that, I'm sure they were fans of Pokemon Magic and stuff. They played and stuff, but still, it wasn't like it was like, I have money now, I'm going to invest in this. And now it's the same people like, I'm going to get out of it too. It's just with the same like yeehaw that they got into the game. Now they're getting out of these type of stuff. So I think we're still into a lot of, the market really needs to correct itself for many, many factors. It's like everything is happening all at once. We're having all of the free money stuff, like the chickens are coming home to roost for all that sort of stuff, where supply shouldn't have been printed as much to even meet that. I mean, you can't blame Pokemon and Magic for really printing into the free money when people were like, here, like every product in Pokemon and Magic was so hot. And the companies are like, well, we got to print into this because we got to make the buck then. But I think they should have used some foresight to realize that this wasn't sustainable. And maybe they should have just let the market eat up all the old inventory, and then they could actually have healthy sales now with things coming out. So speaking of which, though, as I guess I should open up boxes while I'm doing this, right? Because there's some neat stuff in these boxes. Let's talk about the big rumor mill, which is print runs. So apparently, the big rumor is Magic the Gathering is starting to start doing limited print runs on stuff. So starting with I don't know if I'm in camera here. I don't know. Starting with Return of Ravnica Remastered. Ravnica Remastered is rumored to be a one and done. One and done. So they sent out a message to distributors saying, you have one opportunity to buy Ravnica Remastered. There will not be subsequent waves. So tell your stores, you have one opportunity to buy Ravnica. Now that's not saying that there will be more on the market. There might not be an Amazon, because just think of that, whatever they printed for the first wave, if it doesn't sell, then it has to still enter the market. But there have been, most products have had multiple waves, Lord of the Rings, Modern Horizons, all of these, even if you go back to some of the Dominator Remastered, all those type of things have had multiple waves and multiple opportunities for distributors to buy in. So that is the big rumor mill, is if Wizards of the Coast decides to actually send that out, is that an indication that they're going back to their print run changes? And I really think they do. So one of the things that makes Magic attractive to people is if they get their value of what you purchase. I've been the one person talking about, screaming at the top of my lungs, that pack prices need to represent the contents within them. And as soon as they become worthless, and what I really think is these commander decks, because they keep overprinting the commander product, and they're running out of things to put in them to justify the value of printing the commander decks. Now, I give commander decks a little bit of leeway, because I think the utility of commander decks and the convenience of commander decks, I think they can actually sell commander decks that don't have value in them just out of a convenience perspective. And if they add a few new cards to them, that people are going to want to pick those decks up and try them. It's like the release of a new video game. But in a more healthy aspect, they do need to have value in them. And they've killed the value of those type of products, being able to attract people that just want specific cards or specific singles or specific value out of them. And eventually that's going to crush the ability for them to sell in the future for that type of product. So, but going back to every other product, the collector's boosters, those are the ones that I fear the most of. Those always have to, especially collector boosters, they have to represent the value within them. And the market has basically spoken. The collector booster is only worth, the box is only worth like 140 tops. So either Wizards of the Coast has a couple options. They have to drop the price, or they have to drop the print run. And I think it makes a lot more sense for them to drop the print run and let demand and supply, and maybe they need to get back to not worrying so much that the availability, that maybe scarcity is a good thing. And maybe they're looking at Lcan and being like, oh wow, this product continues to sell hot because it's the demand is over the supply, and that creates demand itself, because then people want it because they can't have it. And when things are available and you can have it, it actually decreases demand. And so there's that, going back to the whole psychology of the markets thing. I think Wizards of the Coast is starting to turn a leaf with how they're going to start designing products, and maybe limited is better. Maybe like their whole, I know their whole business plan has been for the past few years is like, okay, got some board games here. Well, who cares if we have to blow collector's boosters out for $100? Let's sell as many as possible because it costs us nothing to print them. So we're making insane profit margins no matter where we print it at. But now it seems that they might be changing their tones, like, okay, but in the future, what if we want to make really good profit margins, like insane profit margins? We can't keep doing that. We can't keep producing products that keep competing with our new sets if we continue to want to have those massive profit margins in the future. So it's this kind of give-take thing where they have to decide, maybe printing less is actually like printing more, meaning that printing less actually increases the demand for stuff. And if they can yield a better return for the less amount printed, in the end game, it's more healthy and will lead to better returns in the future, which is where I'm kind of at. And I'm hoping they can actually come to this conclusion as well, because I think that, of course, we have way too many Magic cards in existence printed in the past few years, where they're running out of things to print, whether they have to go the whole power creep route, which again is not sustainable, or they have to go the limit the supply route. They can't do the reprints anymore at this time. So anyway, there's my kind of discussion for where we're at the market. I hope that makes sense to people and I haven't just rambled on about the same old. So speaking of Ixalan, really fun set. This is what I really want Wizards of the Coast to change. Our pre-release was absolutely horrid. Sales were fine. Pre-release was awful. So this is what we're still seeing. The Wizards of the Coast, and this is again where maybe I'm out of touch with where Magic has turned, is it's turned into more of a collectible kind of piecemeal type game rather than having the fans that really like to gorge themselves on the game. And I noticed that too at the Magic Summit, and now I noticed at the pre-release, we had a lot of people come in and pick up their pre-release kits, come and pick up their set boosters, their collectors, things like that. They've ordered commander decks, and then tell us they're not playing in the pre-release, that they don't want to, that they're just gonna, play at home, or they're just gonna play commander. And I'm seeing a massive turn in that it's just, Zach was super depressed because Zach loves pre-releases, and so do I. I love playing pre-releases. I like the whole vibe. Can I say vibe? Is that what you kids say these days? Of just the whole pre-release. Huge nostalgia. It's my favorite time in Magic, is experiencing new mechanics, and it just seems like no one cares anymore. And again, it shows a shifting of demographics to more the casual, more piecemeal type player. It also shows that maybe people just aren't excited as much with new content, because if you're constantly producing content, then you can just skip a new set and not feel bad because, like, oh, I'll just hit the next one. And then the whole psychology mentality that ends up happening as well. You get kind of this procrastination type attitude, or whatever, this whole well, let's hit the next one. Oh, well, I got something else I can do this weekend. I'll just hit the next one because there'll be another one in a month. Okay, I'll come for Ravnica Remastered. I'll come for, this type of stuff. So it no longer becomes this like, I gotta hit this. I gotta hit this. And that's what it used to be with the midnight pre-release, when it used to be the midnight pre-release, and no other product that was released with that midnight pre-release that made people actually play in the events. And I wish there's another thing that I Wizards of the Coast, I hope you get back to that. I actually, how I want to release to work with Magic the Gathering is I wish they do a pre-release, which is only pre-release kits. That's it, nothing. Maybe they want to do draft boxes too, that you can play draft, but it should be a limited amount, just stores to run events. Pre-release kits, that is the pre-release. Then you have the big release weekend that I also believe should only go to LGSs. So then you should have a release party. We used to have what's called a launch party. The people then get all their booster boxes and stuff, and they can crack them and play in big events. And it's the first time standard cards are legal. And then that should be the following week. Then I think the week after, so 2 weeks after the pre-release, should be the Amazon release, should be the Walmart release, should be the big box stores, the non-WPN LGSs can get their hands on it. The online sellers can get their hands on it. And then if I wouldn't complain so much, and I think other stores wouldn't complain so much, that we'd have that 2 week window that, okay, if we can't compete with, good margins, good MSRPs, at least let us compete in the time frame of us being first to market. And then I wouldn't care if the soulless online sellers want to make their $1 per booster box and dump it out on their massive platforms and work for less than minimum wage. Go at it at that point. If they'd at least allow the stores that are trying to run the tournaments, the brick and mortars, and try to cultivate these communities, would give us at least some sort of advantage. So that's another route that I think that Wizards of the Coast could do. So yeah, so I'm giving solutions with this video rather than just giving complaints. So what do we get in? Let's just talk about what we get now that I've gone into. This can be a long video now because I think there is some Lcan in here that will show. I don't know what I'm going to do with Lcan. These are still my favorite binder. They still sell the best. If you're looking for a good binder, the Dex binder are my binder of choice. They're the best bang for their buck. I prefer them over Dragon Shield. I prefer them over Game Genic. I prefer them over Ultimate Guard. It's kind of funny. So for sleeves, I definitely like Dragon Shield. For binders, I definitely like Dex. For deck boxes, I like Game Genic for their, or actually Ultimate Guard for the boulders. But for their the other higher end boxes, I like Game Genic. So it's kind of crazy with the supplies that I think each one of them. Ultra Pro just sucks at everything, so let's not even talk about Ultra Pro. And I lost my knife. Oh, it's in my pocket. I'm like, I lost my knife. So yeah, it's kind of funny that not one of them has like the corner of the market of my favorite supply. So if you are a patron, supplies are good to order. They're still, I think the supply market's found their little. I think they're still selling good. Like Dragon Shield still sells really, really good. Okay, up here. So here's the stuff that's going to make everyone mad for the restock of Lorcana. Rest in pepperonis. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. I still have locals that want these. I still have messages every day from locals that want these. I want to offer Lorcana to patrons. I want to. The supply is just not there. It's just not there for me right now to offer them. I think maybe a box or two of these will go up on our auction house. That way people can have a stab at them, or maybe we can try to do a raffle for it. But I still have tournaments to run here at the store for Lorcana. I still have locals that really want to get their hands on Lorcana. And if we're ever going to get Lorcana going here, I have to have supply. I think that's one of the problems of people not showing up for Lorcana lately is, okay, well, there's no packs to upgrade my decks with. There's no incentive for me to, man, do they just pack this full of this stuff for like 2 little tiny boxes in here? That's it? That's a massive box for these little 2 things? Could have just shipped these together just fine. See if they fix Lorcana boxes with this wave number 2, if they're still, if they are still not shrink wrapped whatsoever. So here's the Lorcana, my massive restock of I put in still for like 600 boxes, and with this wave I get a whopping 8 of them. How lovely. 8 boxes, and let's see. Yep, okay, so they have not changed. They have not changed them. It looks like they've put some tape. They've put some tape on them now. So that is a change, that it's got a little bit of tape on the boxes. Before it didn't. It was just, the ceiling was just this little pull tab, and that was it. So they have done that. I still think they should wrap them, but at least that's going to be a little bit harder for people to tamper with this. But I mean, these are pretty generic tapes that you can throw on them. So, I mean, they could have put like cereal on the tape or something to show that it's been tampered with if people mess with it. Oh, actually, it just pills. It damages the box pretty good. If you peel it off, it does look like it damaged it. But there you have it with Lorcana. That is my massive restock. I'm going to let my locals have some kind of first dibs on this Lorcana. I've been messaging with 2 of my good locals that just really want some. And so, unfortunately, I think I have to kind of serve this need first before I can go and stretch out. I do appreciate everyone that does support the store, though. I really, really want to support or have Lorcana. We'll have some Floodborne available for patrons, but the first chapter still, it's gonna be a while before I can start. And then that's my fear, is once it actually comes into high supply, then no one's gonna want it. Again, going back to the start of the video, lack of supply actually creates demand. So let's see what's in this box. So what else did I get in this one? This is a really fun game if you're into board games, called Parks. This is for Garito Burrito. Hope you enjoy this for a present for whoever you ordered this for. They just ruin it. I hope they don't watch this video. He's told me to order him some board game presents to give out. Oh, speaking of which, if you are a patron, I hope this isn't making noise here. Get your board games orders in ASAP. Like, if you want to get in by Christmas, start getting them in now, because we're going to start seeing some massive problems with shipping, just delays and things like that. So get your Christmas presents ordered ASAP. And this is a great time, if you are a patron, to get your full advantage of being a supporter, because I can give you ideas. I love doing this with Christmas ideas. I can even get stuff like this. So this is like little kids games called Bluey. I can actually order this kind of stuff. There's huge Asmodee lines for like super normie games. I do have some options for like toys and stuff, but this is what I like doing, is I like talking shop with people, like, oh, can I get these? Feel free to message me. Can you get this? Can you get this? Or for ideas, you have like, hey, I've got an 8-year-old that's into Pokemon. What do you think is a good $25 gift? Those type of stuff, I'd love to help you out. We have plenty of ideas, and I want to be your guy. I want to be your connection. I want to be your dealer. Does that sound good? So anyway, I've never tried this Horrified. This is an order for someone. What is this game? Looks pretty bad. Let's go on to what this box has in. Apologize for my chatty mood. This is kind of be a longer video, and we get more plastic padding. This is what's so funny. Like, one of the guys talked about, I think it was Asmodee, they talked about they're like creating a whole new line of board games that use less plastics and stuff to be more eco-friendly. And this is how they ship stuff. So their eco-friendly box is going to come wrapped around a ton of plastic. Oh boy. Fun. Okay, I finally got some Squire XL in. Apologize, it took 9 years to get that sucker. That color was out of stock forever. We have a game called, this is the eco game, I think it is. So the Forest Shuffle that they talk about being so eco-friendly came wrapped in a bunch of plastic. We use no plastic parts in here. Forest Shuffle. We'll have to try this game out. Hey, look at you, Garito Burrito. Here's your other Quacks at Quedlinburg. So I got all of your Christmas presents. Look at me. I'm your guy for Christmas presents. And then we have, we got a restock finally of these. So Lorcana players, this is a great way to sleeve your Lorcana cards. This is the 200 value pack sleeves from Gamegenic. They're nice little sturdy. These are great board game sleeves for standard typing. You do put magic cards in here as well. What else we got in here from Asmodee? This is more sleeves. We can set this one aside. And these Bastions are kind of cool. These ones aren't the greatest for Magic. These are ones that just have 50s in them. So Bastion's a new line from GameGenic. It's just trying to compete with the Boulders, which they're very similar. So that's what we have in that one. And this is also going to be board games. I don't know if people can see me down here. You can see the top of my balding head. And there's just a tiny box again with a ton of plastic in it. So that's how we... Oh, okay, cool. So we got another Squire. The red was out of stock for a while, so we got the Squire XL. I think that is for a patron. And we got a bunch of these brain boxes. So again, for kids or like school teachers and stuff like that, these brain boxes are super popular. You can go check them out. Asmodee runs them. So, and then Spotted's sell pretty good. A great game for little kids. My nephew loves Spotted. And oh, this one's kind of cool. This is from GameGenic. This is called a tokens layer. So it's got 5 drawers for each of the colors that you can put your tokens in. So I'm gonna actually try this out and see if it works, because we have tokens everywhere. For the previous, I was like, man, I wish we could just have a little place for people that need to find tokens. So I'm thinking of actually putting this out on the game tables, and then people need a token, they can just kind of shuffle through this GameGenic thing and instead of going through the cardboard boxes. And we got a couple other normie games in here. We got the sound game. Again, party games are things I can get. Party games, I hate these like drunk party games. I'm kind of a Grinch when it comes to having fun with casual board games. When I like to play games, I like strategy. And so I don't want to waste my time with these boring party games. So I can find other ways to socialize and have to use a icebreaker type game. Anyway, that's kind of more brain boxes in here. And that's what we got in today. And I hope you enjoyed this discussion with kind of the, I don't know, I'm all over the place with this one, but interested in hearing your comments in the comment section below about how your Ixalan pre-release went. People still playing Pokemon? Gosh, Pokemon has just died. I have more of that coming tomorrow for Pokemon, for like the Roaring, was it the Roaring Moon? Or so one of the problems with Pokemon, with their keep killing their sets, is they keep coming out with EX boxes immediately of the chase cards. So the chase cards in here that everyone wants, like a month later, are just going to be in EX boxes. So it's crazy. And how they do it too is they always put booster packs in the EX boxes to kind of justify the price of them. So then, you know, mass box openers also like to crack them. So it just floods the market with those EXs. And then it kind of kills the value of the packs, because then people, you know, don't need to chase it as much to find those specific cards. But anyway, we'll have to talk Pokemon another time. It's just a weird time frame for Pokemon. I've had a hard time getting people to get excited about it. And, you know, we still get our casuals that come in and buy a couple packs here and there. But it's definitely like, again, one of the whole reasons to run a store is to play. And it just seems that both those, like, again, going back to shifting demographics, that people are playing less and collecting more. Yeah, it's just kind of sad. Maybe it's not the same everywhere, but it's just been my observations. Again, MTG Summit and some looking a lot of like other data with stuff. Yeah. Weird time. Anyway, hope that after Christmas season it starts reinvigorating people. Like these things go in these ebb and flows with the tabletop gaming, where people get really into it and then get burnt out and get really into it. And hopefully we can get some new blood, though. That's another thing. In the comment sections, I don't know if we're onto something there. Are we kind of on our last like hoorah with tabletop games? Is this really an aging demographic, or will the Zoomers? Is there even a generation now that's going to be under Z that's coming out? Are Zoomers now? Anyway, are they going to get into tabletop gaming? Is that going to be the future? Because we need the new stomachs to start digesting, partaking into this market, I think, for it to be sustainable. Anyway, that's all I got. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.